Good evening.
Wait, could y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, now I could hear you guys. Good night.
Good
good
night.
evening. Hello.
Good.
How was your week? So she got bumped out again.
It's okay.
It was
How
okay.
was the week? Hmm. Does Sunday begin the week or does Sunday end the week?
I think this is my opinion, but it would be different for everyone else. I believe that Sunday begins the week. It starts the week and it ends on a Saturday. Some people
Ah,
would say start on a Saturday and end on a Sunday. But my week ends on a Saturday and starts on a Sunday.
but start or end, I spend my week looking forward in great anticipation to Sunday gone.
Okay.
So everything that I did was about looking forward to Sunday, and because I was going to do something new, try something new,
Mhm.
because I'm working on going out a little bit more, doing things, and I deliberately did not want to invite any friends with me or relatives with me because I wanted to meet new people. I wanted to meet different people. I wanted to just enjoy the experience because I had been looking forward to it for such a long time. And I did enjoy it. So the week had sort of energy for me because regardless of what was going on, I was just focused on Sunday is coming. So I'm counting down the days, and it was really, 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 really nice. And I'm really looking forward to the next time I see that advertisement coming up. I am going to be registered. Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with a little activity, right? It's a simple
Mhm.
activity, and you all could share as much as you want to. You could keep it as basic as you want to. Because I know sometimes in life we tend to get caught up with all the things that are happening and not sit and focus on gratitude and being thankful. So to start, we could share one thing that we are grateful for. First thing that comes to mind.
I was grateful I went to that thing.
It was grateful. Okay, so you were grateful for Sunday. Lisa, one thing that you're grateful for. And at least I could hear us.
Yeah, I could. I just trying to get through. Just life, just the wisdom and where I am and the understanding that I have now compared to where I was before.
Okay. And Alexis, one thing that you're grateful for.
I would say just being alive, seeing another day.
Okay. And Pat. I don't know if Pat would Pat, are you there?
Yes,
So
after a long, after a long holiday.
yes, how are you? So before you
I'm
share one thing that you're grateful for, how are you?
I'm good. I'm grateful for the fact that I went to the health center, my clinic, and they say everything was good.
Okay. All right,
Yeah,
so
my
that's
health good.
fine. All right. And Tennille, one thing that you're grateful
I'm grateful for peace.
for peace. All right. And Kim, I don't know if she's there. I'm not sure if she's there. But Kim, if you are there, we're sharing one thing that we are grateful for. So whenever you could turn on and share. One thing I am grateful for, the lessons of life. Because without the lessons of life, I will not be where I am right now. So I'm grateful for the challenges, even though in the moment it don't seem like that. But I'm grateful for the challenges because in the challenges, I learn a lot, especially about myself, and I grow from it. So we are going to get into tonight's topic, which is finish strong by starting sharp. So when we hear the title, anybody want to give a guess of what they think it means?
Finish strong by starting sharp.
Yes.
To me, it depends on where you're starting from, where is sharp. I think anywhere you start, that's where you're supposed to start from. So I think as long as you're in that place of acceptance and realizing that you want to, grow and you want to be a better version of yourself, within that, going through the challenges, learning about yourself, going through life experiences, especially like you said, the ones that, you might struggle through. At the end, you finish sharp because you come out being a victor, you come out with a greater understanding of yourself, greater awareness, greater knowledge, a deeper perception of things. So I think no matter where you start from, as long as you put the time, the effort, the energy, be consistent in doing it, you will finish sharp.
Finish strong. You start
Strong.
sharp, you
You
finish
finish strong.
and you start sharp. Okay. I like that insights, Lisa. Anybody else want to say what they think it means?
I was thinking that it meant that if you set goals and you have priorities and so on, despite all the challenges that you might encounter along the way when you want to achieve something, you will you will finish you will you will finish strong. If you, I equate sharp to meaning having priorities and setting goals and so on. I put a meaning to sharp.
Okay. Kim, I see you have your hand up. You could go ahead.
Yes, when I hear it, I think about before starting, being clear and focus, on what it is you want to do, what it is you want to achieve, in order to finish strong. Because if you're like all scattered or unsure, then you won't finish strong. So that's what I think about when I hear that.
We were sharing one thing that we're grateful for. You were supposed to share yours. She gone again? All right, she gone again.
Hello, what's that? Sorry.
We're sharing one. I call on you when we're sharing one thing that we're grateful for.
Oh, I thought it was with what do you think about the topic when you hear the topic.
No, that was before.
Oh, Oh, okay. Well, I guess my is a little delayed. One thing I'm grateful for, I mean, there's a lot. For now, I am just grateful for each moment.
Okay.
It sounds kind of vague, right? But I'm grateful for each moment because with each moment it brings something different, and I'm grateful for the I'm grateful for each moment and what it brings because it
Okay.
brings learning, it brings lessons. So I'm grateful for it each moment.
All right. Nice. All right. Anybody else want to give an insight on what they think tonight's topic is or what they gather from finishing strong, starting sharp?
I think for me, it would be something along the same lines as Kim, understanding where you want to go, beginning with clarity in mind and staying focused, even though there may be some distractions along the way. If you could use anything from the distractions to forward your goals or to assist you, well, you pull from there. But anything else, you cut away so that you can complete what it is you want to complete and be where you want to be. But you have to start off by being clear as to where you want to go. And then just staying laser focused there.
All right then. All right. And
Could I ask a question?
yeah, go ahead.
Because I know sometimes, you're saying have clarity, but sometimes for some of us, let's say like you have a teenager who is trying to find themselves. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times they don't have that clarity in terms of who they want to be, what they want to become. But they'll probably be a little bit more scattered, but they learn along the way through life experiences to find that clarity. So, do you always have to start from clarity, or you could start from uncertainty and finish strong?
Well, even in starting from the uncertainty, somewhere along the line, the clarity would come. Somewhere along the line, you would bounce, bounce, bounce until you, and that's once you're being mindful, because it works with mindfulness. Because you could go through life uncertain and you reach your deathbed and deathbed, sorry, and you're still uncertain. But once you're mindful, even though you're bouncing, you would realize, okay, these things are not for me. This is for me. These are the things that I appreciate. And along the line, you tend to develop clarity.
Right, but you didn't start with clarity. You start from uncertainty and then you find clarity. So, do you have to start from clarity? Because
Technically, you
sometimes you are
cannot
not.
start from clarity, because they know along the way, even though they're unsure, they know that they're going towards a goal, finding what it is they're good at or what it is they would like to achieve, if you get what I mean. So even okay, let's say for example, I don't know what I want to study at university, but I know that I want to go university. Clarity is knowing I want to go university. When I get to university, okay, now it have physics, it have science, and it have maths. You try both, you try all of them because again, clarity is I want to try physics, science, and maths. And once they try those three, then okay, I realize okay, I like maths, and you go towards that pathway. So even in walking towards the goal there is trying to figure out or learning what it is that I would like to do. So that's the clarity there. So you're just not all over the place, if you get what I mean. I saw Kim had her hand up.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
No, I was just going to say similar to you, but it's just Shaba, quiet, please. Just being clear, something that you want to start something. Because sometimes there will be will have been projects or things exactly just as you said. You may want to go to university. You may not be quite clear as to what exactly you want to study, but when you go to register to sign up, then you'll see, okay, well, it's this, my interest. Because sometimes you may even think to yourself, you're certain that you want to be an architect. And when you reach to sign up, you decide that, hey, I prefer to be an engineer. I'm pointed more in the direction of being an engineer. So it's not that you have to be clear about every single thing, but just clear at least about two, just enough to make you start.
Yeah.
I think that's where clarity is, just to start.
All right. Anastasia, I saw you have it up. You could go ahead.
Yes, good night. I'm not too clear what is the topic tonight.
Oh, so it's
Because I
finishing
came in late.
strong. Finishing strong by starting sharp.
Okay.
All right. When you hear the topic, if you want to answer, when you hear the topic, what do you think it means to you?
Well, I'm not clear what starting sharp is.
Okay, then.
Because I was listening to Lisa that sometimes it could start with uncertainty, but then you clear up that uncertainty could be certainty because at least you have a starting point.
Yeah.
So you start at starting point, you have clarity there to start, but it could change as you go along.
Yes.
Your clarity could change as you go along. You could steer into a different direction from where you start. So, okay.
And I think it's not so much changing, but redefining. So you kind of fine tuning it as you go along. So you would take off certain things, as Catherine was explaining in terms of the distraction. You would realize that okay, these things are no longer required. And because again you're sharp, you would cut them off because you know where you're going. I don't need to carry this phone or I don't need to carry this water bottle because it's not required. So that by the time you get to the finish line with whatever it is that you want to achieve, you are there with everything that is required for the finish line. Right? And I said, Jackie, go ahead again.
Yeah, so the sharp is like a conscious awareness.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's knowing what you want, or having some clarity in terms of what you want, and knowing what is required and what is not required, and being able to cut off the things that are not required. Even though it's easier said than done, but at least attempting or putting in that effort to cut off the things that are not required for whichever journey you're about to take, whichever walk you're about to take. Right? I want to ask, when we are faced with distractions, so we make up our mind that we want to do something, and the universe have a way of testing us to make sure this is what we really want. How do we deal with the distractions? Anybody? How do you deal with your distractions when the universe decides to test you to see, is this what you really want? I saw Catherine unmute her mic and Anastasia had her hand raised. So Catherine, you could go ahead, and then Anastasia.
What I was going to say was, you have to give it attention. I learned this. You have to give it attention. Like a little child that's pulling at your clothes, you have to give them attention. You cannot stay lost there. But the attention that you give is really a sort of acknowledgement that this is something that exists. And then, because you know where you want to be, you can identify that, okay, this is a distraction. This is not going to help me go where I need to go. But if I try to ignore it, which I have done in the past with no success, because it keeps coming back. If it's a thought, it keeps coming back. If it's a situation, person, place, or thing, it keeps showing up again in different forms. And and I actually have a practical example of very early in my career, something I should have dealt with right away, and I didn't deal with it, thinking it would go away. And it wasn't about 4 months later, it showed up as the group head of the area I was working in, and it did not end well at all. So distractions, whether they be physical or mental or whatever it is, for me, I have learned, deal with that. Give it some time, not all your time, but enough it's like an itch that you're going to scratch, and then it will go away, unless you have a really bad eczema. That's how I dealt with it. Give it some attention. Person, place, or thing sort. Give it some attention. Place it where it's supposed to be. Identify it in terms of what is it in the scheme of things. And like you said, because the universe always sends something to make sure, is this really where you want to go? Is this? And then I just place it where it is. If I'm struggling a bit to place it, then I ask myself, why is it important? Why am I struggling to place it? And then I go into what is there still inside of you that is finding this thing either a challenge, attractive, whatever it is. And I try to go there. And what I find is that if I go there, then I can say, oh, that is what it is. Or, oh, all right, just spend time. No need to stay. Or this is how it could be used, or this is what I can do with it. But I have to give it some attention.
All right. And Anastasia.
So sometimes, according to what is the distraction, I feel like if I could run back to my comfort zone, because sometimes the distraction is just it's so much, and you just don't know what to do. But at the end of the day, you know you have to do something, because you know it's forward you want to go, you don't want to go back. So I would sit with it, ask my questions, and wait on the answer, and then know, okay, what to do now with this distraction, you know? And yeah, that's how I would deal with it.
Okay. I think like the most important thing as well is identifying that we are being distracted, because sometimes we get so caught up in the distraction that you don't even realize that you're in the distraction until something major happen, and then you realize, oh yeah, I took a little, what do you call it, a little pathway off, a little right turn when I was supposed to take a left turn, and I identify. So it's important, first of all, before we even know what the distraction is, to identify that yes, we being distracted. And similar to what Anastasia and Catherine said, in terms of, don't try to push it away, because when you try to push it away, it's like a little child. It would come back and it would nag you and nag you and nag you. And it's accepting that right now, okay, this is a distraction. And similar to Katrina's experience, I had the same thing where I had to identify that, okay, Nicola, you're being distracted. It is a distraction. I used to try to fight it away, and the more I fight it away, the more the thought would come, until eventually I accepted that this is what it is. And then slowly over time, you put it in its place and it would stay in its place. It would still try to sneak out sometime, because, as I said, the universe likes to test you. So it would come, and as person, place, and thing, it would come, but then it's identifying that, all right, we're going off course here, and time to put ourselves back on, time to cut it back, or cut it off if we need to cut it off. Whatever it is that you need to do in order, because everybody thing would be different in terms of putting away the distraction. Right? So some people may need to cut it off completely. Some people may need to just put it in a nice little room, but you don't have to throw it out the house. Whatever it may be. All right.
Could I say something too? Because I feel like a lot of times when we are faced with the distractions, especially when we're trying to overcome it and grow from it, a lot of times we would slip back into the old way.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for myself, I used to beat myself up. I don't really do it anymore. Like, I'm trying so hard, or you're trying, and it's like you're trying so hard to do it. You know what I mean? So you kind of beat yourself up in trying to do it, and then beat yourself up even more when you fall short of accomplishing it.
Yeah.
So it's really to not beat yourself up, be patient with yourself, and realize that you didn't get this way overnight, and it's not going to change overnight. So really be patient with yourself, but be consistently aware of it. And, little by little, it will go away.
Yep. Anything with the distractions, as well as sometimes is as well understanding what are the distractions, because the distractions could be in the most subtle way. It could be a thought pattern. It could be something as a thought pattern. It could be something again as a friend, but a friend and a thing that's bigger. But they are in the most subtle set of ways. It could be in a eating habit that you have, a certain habit that you have, and that in itself is a distraction, taking you away from whatever the goal is. So you know that you want to get rid of your sinuses, and chocolate ice cream just act up your sinuses. And for nothing, chocolate ice cream, every day you're craving chocolate ice cream and you're eating chocolate ice cream, but you're not cutting off the chocolate ice cream. And somebody will be like, oh, chocolate ice cream is a distraction, but it's not helping you to achieve the goal of your sinuses not acting up. Because sometimes we tend to look at the big things and think it's for the big things, but it's even for the subtle, the simplest set of things as well. Because every day we would get up and there's always something that we want to achieve. So it don't have to be a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan. It could be just a daily plan. Okay, I want to go and walk this afternoon, but you reach home and then you go on your phone scrolling. The phone is a distraction, right? And then you convince yourself that, oh, I will go tomorrow, I'll go in the morning. When you very well know in the morning you're not going anyway. So sometimes it's the most subtle set of things. You have a goal that on work you want to get this project completed by the end of the month. And every time you sit to do it, you decide that, you know what, I'm going to listen to music instead, or whatever your work, or I'm going to sit down and talk to my colleague instead of getting it done. Right? So the distraction can be in any which form or fashion, and it's not always the big fireworks that we like to see, because we like the fireworks. Right? So it's not always the biggest of things. It could be in the most subtle ways as well. Right? And I want to ask now, well, I want you all to think, what is something, because I'm going to give you all the Genius Goal Challenge now, so you can get your pen and paper to write, right? what is something, whether it's something long term, whether it's something short term, but what is something that you would like to achieve, and what is a current distraction? So identifying one current distraction that you have based on something that you like to achieve. So the first thing is identifying something that you would like to achieve. And this is based on you, not based on something that a parent may have told you, a friend may have told you, a colleague, but something that you truly want to achieve. You would like to see this in your life, not based on social media or anything.
Is that the Genius Goal question?
Yeah.
Oh, so what is the question actually, please?
So it's actually three things. So it's what is one thing that you would like to achieve? The other thing is what is one thing that is currently distracting you from achieving? That's identifying one thing that's currently distracting you from achieving it, one distraction. And then one thing that you can do to stop the distraction. So one thing that you could work on to help you from not being distracted. And actively taking the step every day, being mindful. So any moments, actively taking the step to curb the distraction. So I'll repeat it one more time. So it's one thing that you would like to achieve, one distraction that is currently hindering you from achieving it, and then one thing that you could do to help you to curb the distraction. So one action that you could take. Sorry to drop it on you all just in the middle of the session. That's the fun with life. I always say that's the fun with life. You never know when the thing would come, you never know. So it's always to stay alert and stay mindful, because it could come at any time. So everybody have it? All right then.
So all you want is one thing, not a just list one thing.
Yeah, just one thing.
One thing for the distraction, one thing for the hindrance, and one thing to improve it.
Yes. So it's one thing you want to achieve, one distraction that is hindering you from achieving it, and then one thing you could do, actively practice, that you're willing to commit to help you curb the distraction. And then when you list it, I mean to say we can't track it, but that would be you being honest with yourself. So you actually doing the thing as well. And I just want to go back to a point as well that Lisa made in terms of when we do find ourselves in the distraction, sometimes we really tend to beat up on ourselves. And in beating up on ourselves, we tend to stop. So we tend to stop want to achieve whatever the thing is. And is to continue the walk, to continue walking and continue, because at the end of the day, life is about growth. And it's understanding that every time, because the distractions will come, but it's identifying that every time it comes, you spend less and less time there as the distractions come. But continue walking. Don't stop, because what you would do is you would stop and then you realize 5-10 years pass, you still didn't achieve the thing. And now you're studying to continue to walk. You have less time to enjoy the thing that you was walking towards. So even though you find yourself there, you identify, you stop and you realize, okay, I'm beating up on myself. I am being harsh on myself. And then you keep moving. You keep walking. And then the more you practice it, the better you get at it. And the better you get at it, you'd realize that, okay, this distraction come and I am able to blow it away or cut it out. If we're doing sharp, we're looking at a knife, I'm able to cut down the bush even better. And once I cut it off, I know that it's not coming back.
But I think one of the things too, when you stop, whenever you face with the challenge again in a different form, way, whatever, you have to start from the beginning. So you're always starting over, more or less, because you didn't build up enough of a resilience, or you didn't build up enough of a pattern to help you to necessarily overcome the situation. So a lot of times it's like you just go back, unless you're very mindful, you know, like you have this situation, you fall and you bruise your knee, and you're like, okay, I was at 5 miles, and okay, I start at 5 miles, but sometimes we don't start at the 5 mile where we fell. We end up having to go back to the starting line, because we have to then go back and, even work harder at it. So sometimes it's just to try to push through.
But then, fun fact, we actually never starting back at zero, because you're starting back with all the experiences that you had before. So you may think that you're starting back at zero, but you're starting back with the 5 mile experience that you had before. You're starting back knowing that, okay, I know this pothole here because this is the pothole that I just fell into. I know that this stone is here because I now passed this stone. Right here is where I fell. So you're never really starting back at zero, because starting back at zero would mean you're wiping all the experiences that you had, and you're going from, I don't even want to say baby before baby. That would be starting back at zero. So you'd always start back with something, because you would know next time that, all right, when I go to this place usually triggers these thoughts in me. So that's not starting back at zero, because this specific situation will trigger these thoughts, or this music will trigger these thoughts. So you always have the experiences there. You can't get away from the memories and the experiences, because it's part of you, and it's part of who make you for today. We could decide that we want to push them to the side and not let them be triggered, but for the most part, we can't. They are part of you, so you can't get rid of something that is a part of you. Catherine, I saw you had a hand raised.
Um, Picking up on something that Lisa had talked about, the self criticism
Mm-hmm.
and the disappointment with self when you find that you're, for whatever reason, you shifted a little bit and you fell down a little bit. And I think for me that in the past that would have been a major issue, in that you would spend a lot of time now in the guilt, and I remember a particular incident, and I was really, really down on myself, because to me, I had let down myself. I had made a decision, and then I went back on that decision. And to me, I'd let myself down really, really, really badly. And it took me a while to get out of that space. And really, how I deal with it now, even when the memory comes back, I go to the part where it says, you're here to enjoy life. You're here to enjoy. Life is about enjoying the experiences that you have, whether they will, and not put them in good and bad and right and wrong. So, no, I would say, did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy it? Yes, it was enjoyable. Okay. Now you know that this is not a road you want to walk on again. So be a little bit more mindful next time. And whatever the environmental circumstances that encouraged where you went off track, pay attention to those, and similar. So, and particularly where it's like people involved, because somehow we seem to have a better handle on places and things. I don't know why we make a difference between people and places and things. You could tell us why. But particularly where it's people concerned, I would now pay attention to the environmental factors. So if it's a conversation that would lead along a particular way, then we are not having this conversation. It would go somewhere else. It would cut short. It would just not get any sort of fertilizer to be able to develop and go back again where it went last time. So that is how I learned to deal with situations that normally I would spend time just beating up on myself. Shouldn't have done this, you shouldn't have done that. And I think it was Saturday morning, I had a major breakthrough in an issue that was dogging me for years. And I came away with that with a sense of freedom, like something had lifted and just been taken away, or it went away, or I sent it away, but it was really, really liberating. And I think I've carried that kind of lightness since. And it was definitely blocking something that I had to do. And once I was able to process that, and I can now move ahead and do that piece without anything, without anything. So for me, learning to detach myself from guilt and the constant need to beat up on yourself over something that has already gone. And they talk about gratitude. Gratitude is experiencing things. Just accept what is. And so learning to live in the space of, okay, just accept what it is. And you don't have to make it about you and how terrible you were. And so that once you could cut out that, then you're good to go. So I think I'm good to go.
And to answer your question in terms of being disappointed more so when it comes to people as opposed to places and things, in my opinion, I believe it's because when it inanimate and animate, things are inanimate, so you will not really hold it that high of a standard because the building is the building, the car is the car. But with people, they still have that choice. They could, so you would be a little bit more disappointed because it's like, oh, you could do that. But if the building fall down, the building had no choice but to fall down. So you would have less expectation of the building or the things than of people. That's my opinion on it.
So I think the secret of the thing is to have no expectations.
Yes.
Period. Limit your expectations.
Yes. And as you were saying before, allow the experience to be the experience, whatever that looks like, and function in gratitude. So whatever the experience look like, you are grateful for this is what the experience was because it went the way it was meant to go, and you would have gained what you needed to gain from it. Whether it was a thing where next time I need to prepare more, or next time I want more of this. I enjoy this so much that it could be very similar again. So again, try not to live by the definition of good or bad. But if you want to live by good or bad, you know that next time the bad one, okay, we need to do this tweak because we want less of this and more of the other. All right. Anybody have anything else that they would like to share? Okay, nothing. All right, so what I will do now is I would show y'all the things that we have upcoming. So let me just share my screen. All right. So at the Balance Center this week, we have, as part of our Better series, we have Becoming the Person Your Goals Deserve. So we look at your future needs a better you, not a better plan. So basically how to become a better version of yourself so that you can achieve the goals that you deserve. Right. And then we have our Fuel and Flex full body workout from 7 p.m. On Wednesday, we have counseling and consultation at 10. And for our Be Better series, we have What you allow is what will grow. So refine what you accept to rise to what you expect. And then on Thursday, we have counseling and consultation. And at 6 p.m. for our Be Better series, we have protecting and directing your energy. So sharpening your mental, emotional, and spiritual. And then at 7 p.m., we have our Fuel and Flex full body workout. On Friday, we have counseling and consultation from 10 a.m. And then from 3 p.m., we have Free to Be. And on Saturday, we have counseling and consultation from 10 a.m. and we are closed at 3 p.m. And you all remember that these sessions, part of our Be Better series, it's a deeper understanding of what is discussed on a Monday. So we go deeper into whatever the Monday topic was to help guide you along. And these sessions are free for premium members, which is $96 or 15 US a month. And if you are not a premium member, these sessions are 100 per session. Okay. Right, and then we have our Java camp coming up as well. Share this one. So from July 14th to 31st, we have our Java camp, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at $600 per week. And it's for teens 12 to the ages of 17. So what we look at is mind mastery and wellness, nurturing relationships, fine dining skills, cupcake campuses, sip and paint. We'll have outdoor games and activities. We'll have a swimming pool and much more. We also have field trips. We are looking at children who would be going into secondary school and helping with that transition in terms of learning secondary school culture. So if you know anyone who is interested or who would benefit from our camp, please feel free to let them know that they can message us on WhatsApp, Java, 3361809. So 3361809. All right, so we have about 15 more minutes before we close off. So as we move forward in life, it's understanding again that the distractions would come. Identifying that, you know what, this is what I want to achieve, and these are the things that are keeping me back. I always like to use the analogy of picture yourself climbing a mountain and you're carrying things that no longer required. It's you just slowing down the process. It's you just carrying extra weight and keeping you back. So when you were supposed to reach at point A for 9 a.m. to get whatever it have there, whatever sunlight or whatever it is that have there for 9 a.m., 9 a.m. you're about 5 miles down, right? Because you're still caught up in the distractions. Whether it is you're toting things that are no longer required, whether it is you stop and you're taking in this lovely view so much that you miss the 9 a.m. view that you really wanted to see or you really were supposed to get, right? You're so caught up there. And by the time you get 9 a.m., by the time you get there for 9, or not even 9, by the time you get there for 10, it's because rain falling. So you're taking your 5 extra hours because now rain falling for the extra 5 hours for you to get to shelter, right? So it's understanding that being able as well, being mindful to identify the distractions when the distractions come. Because I think, like Lisa was saying, we do start a walk and then we stop for whatever reason. So even though we stop, even though we fall, even though the distractions there, it's picking yourself up and going again. And I know sometimes it's easier said than done, but it's holding focus and okay, I want to finish strong. And I feel like once we hold focus on the things that we want to see and we hold focus on what we truly want to achieve and what we truly want to experience, it makes cutting the distraction off easier because we understand, we tend to see ourselves in a different light. We tend to realize that, okay, we deserve this and why am I cutting or why am I shorting myself then? Why am I lessening something or limiting myself when I could enjoy all of this? So it's understanding as well that by me engaging in this, by me engaging in this thought pattern, by me having these I guess type of people are wrong by me going to these places. It's me cutting myself short from the things that I truly want to experience. And do I really deserve that? Do I really deserve the limits, or do I really deserve more than what I see in the mirror? Because I am more than what I see in the mirror. And it's understanding as well that I deserve the best. Whatever the best may look like, because the best will look different for everybody else, because everybody's on a different journey, but you deserve the best. And the distractions usually are not, they are not there for the best. They are there for the limits. They are there for the ones who believe that they are undeserving. Katrin, I saw you have your hand up. You can go ahead.
Yeah, that last point you made there about deserving the best. I think that is something that is so critical to everything. I think that is central to every single thing. Because if deep down inside, if deep down where you didn't even know you had a spot left inside there, you do not believe you deserve the best, you can fake it as much as possible. But eventually, at the wrong time, just when it matters the most, this little seed of self-doubt and unworthiness will find its way as a tree and branches slapping all over the place because you'd never realized that this was there. And eventually you start to see it in how you, when you stop to look. I remember at one time in my life when I just stopped and I said, this cannot be my life. I just cannot be there for bills and stress and worry and looking and no. This cannot be it. And I remember that day I just went to the mall. I said, you know what? Bills, you can sit. I am going to the mall and I'm going to just splurge on me today. And I've had some things in the house. I went through the cupboards and I threw them away because I said, no. This is a mindset. This is a thinking. This is literally a blanket on top of you on a hot day. You're not comfortable and you don't even know why this blanket is here. So the ability to delve inside and to see if you're carrying that little, I like to call it germ, if you're carrying that little germ inside of you that where you think you don't deserve the best, it will show up in every single thing. It shows up in your relationships. It shows up in how you let people treat you, what you allow, the kind of jobs you're willing to take. If you're running a business, whether you're willing to bring down your prices just because somebody, you see yourself in a different light altogether. You see yourself almost as a beggar without realizing you're seeing yourself as a beggar. You really, and that's the worst part. You tell yourself that, I'm doing it. I'm doing me. But the me is a signpost of unworthiness. So it is necessary to always be mindful. And even for me, sometimes something else will happen and it will try to come back. And then I have to sit and talk myself out of it and say, the best. So when the distractions come, and the distractions tend to be along the lines that want to take you back. I think Anastasia mentioned that, want to take you back to a place where, because it's familiar. And no, I think you must always be on the lookout for that little germ that says you don't deserve the best. Find it and find out why it was there. I think that's 90% of the issue solved. Find out why it was there. And for me, it was a question of going far back to find out why that little germ was there and get rid of that germ or work constantly on dealing with that germ. If you can't get rid of it in one go, know that this is a goal and you're going with that.
And I feel like even in that thought pattern, and we're looking at starting sharp to finish strong, I feel like even with having that thought pattern, that's something that you need to cut out from in the beginning. So it's something that you need to nip in the bud from in the beginning so that you're able to start off strong. Because once you change that thought pattern as you go along, you would realize, oh, I deserve the best. You would realize, so you would always pick up the things that you need to pick up and not have the things less than. The things that are less than are wrong you. So that's something that's supposed to be cut from the beginning, right? Whether it means like I practice and I preach a lot of mirror work as well, and this is because of my personal experience. I know that it works. So whether it means that you go in front of the mirror, and I usually tell people naked as you're born with nothing on, and you look at yourself, right, and you identify that this is you. You know you're more than what you see in the mirror. And as I said, that is because it worked for me. So I usually tell people try it because there's one thing I'm sure it works in identifying you in the mirror, and having conversations with yourself in the mirror, right? And as you have the conversations with yourself, you learn to accept yourself for who you are because you are here for a reason. You look like however you look like for a reason. Everything that you have within you is there for a reason. So it's accepting that. And as you accept that, then you make the step. You make the step and you identify that, oh yeah, I deserve this. Okay, this is less than me, or this is not taking me to where I need to be. Understand? So time for me to cut this off. As painful as it may be. Right. And I would have learned, at least for me, it's easier when you decide to make the effort to cut it off than it's less painful, I should say, when you make the effort to cut it off than when you allow the universe to cut it off. Right? Because it tends to be a little bit more painful. I would like, no, I don't want pain. So I would make the progress and do what I need to do to cut it off and get rid of the distractions so that I can live the life that I deserve or live the life that I is truly meant to live. And it's with everybody. But again, it's you deciding and making that choice for yourself. Nobody could make the choice for you. You have to come to that decision for yourself that this is what I want to do. This is what I want to achieve. I am willing to give up. And it's not necessarily giving up because the universe would always replace it with something else. And I think that's the thing, sometimes when we have the distractions and we have to cut them off, we feel as though we're going to lose out. But you're not really losing out because you're always gaining, because something else would come to fill that space. Something greater would come to fill the space. It may mean that you may need to stand up for 2 hours just by yourself. But even in that 2 hours, when you're standing by yourself, you learn about yourself a little bit more, and then whatever it is would come to fill that space and to put whatever, to replace whatever is supposed to be there, right? So
As you were talking,
go ahead.
sorry,
No,
no,
go ahead.
as you were talking, the word royal and royalty was coming to me.
Mm-hmm.
Royalty. You have to see yourself as royalty, as deserving, just top shelf, top tier, just not in an arrogant way or any kind of, but that the best is there for you. Whether it's a dinner mint or is a tub of ice cream, it is there for you, and you can. And sometimes you also put like the money in front, but even the money we have to put behind, because it's the thing you want and the thing will come. Forget the money. Forget the money, because many times when we think about the money first, we do not treat ourselves the best. We do not try because we think we cannot afford the money. So the word royal and royalty, that is what was coming as you were talking.
Yes. And then the best would look different for everybody because everybody's on a different journey. For some people, as Katrin was explaining, the best is 2 scoops of chocolate ice cream. For somebody else, the best is a dinner mint because that person requires the dinner mint. One person requires the chocolate ice cream. One person requires tacos. One person requires Mercedes Benz. One requires a Lancer. Right? The best would look different for everybody because we are all on a different journey. So my best would be different from Katrin best, Lisa best, Kim best, Pat best, everybody else best. Right? So it's understanding that as well, because we tend to get caught up as well, which is a distraction as well. Comparison and comparing ourselves to everybody and looking at what everybody else have, looking at our neighbor and not sitting down and looking at ourselves and what is required for us. So as I said even before, when you're setting your goal for the Genius goals, it's something that you want to achieve, that's there for you, something that you sit and you spend time with, and you know that from deep within, this is what is for me. It's not based on nobody or nothing outside of me, but this is something that I truly want to experience for me. And again, what is distracting me from achieving it? Is it a thought pattern? What thoughts do I have about it? Do I feel as though I am not worthy of it? I'm not deserving of it? Because that in itself is a distraction. Do I feel as though, oh, I just want this because I need to prove a point to my parents or to my children or to my aunt, my uncle, family, friends, or I need to prove a point to my neighbor, right? So is that what it is? Is that the distraction? So what is the distraction? Is it a person? So every time I make this certain progress, I find myself kind of going back, or I find myself going back to this place, right? And I'm in a physical place. Every time I make progress and I feel as, yeah, no, I go back because I need to go back to my comfort zone. I think Anastasia was saying that earlier. This feels uncomfortable, so I need to go back to my comfort zone. And comfort zone is me worrying. So I need to go back to me worrying, to feel as though. So is it that? And then what am I willing to do? So when the worry do come up, am I going to take some deep breaths to change the energy around me? Am I going to go to sleep? If I could go to sleep and wake up with a clear head again to change the energy, am I going to, go for a mindful walk? Am I going to listen to some music and dance and sing? What is it? When I find myself wanting to, again, call a particular person, am I going to now go on Instagram and watch a funny video, YouTube, and watch a funny video to distract myself or to hinder me, to take me off of the path of heading towards the direction? Right? When I find myself feeling unworthy, am I just going to take a bath, strip myself, and go and stand in front of the mirror and have a conversation with myself? I mean to take it with clothes on too. Am I going to find a mirror? Right? If I know that, okay, I am really battling with these thoughts, all right, so you know what? I need to put a little nail in the wall and put a mirror on my bed, arm's length, so I could just pull it and have that conversation with myself, or always have a little mirror close by. You understand? So you pull it out and you have the conversation with yourself. Whatever it is, what is this that I need to do for me to help me, to turn me away from the distraction, right? What is my knife to cut off the distraction? Let's use it. What is my machete? Machete, right? Yeah. What is my machete to cut off this distraction? And it sharpens. So we sharpening the tool and we cutting it, right? So what is that, and what does that look like for me? Again, everybody own would be different, so we're not comparing ourselves to anybody. And everybody journey takes, so for Pat it might be 5 days, for Lisa it might be 3 months, for Anastasia it might be 3 weeks, for Catherine it might be 2 days, for Kim it might be, I don't know, 5 hours, right? For everybody it would be different, and that is okay. That is what makes the world fun, and that's what makes the world exciting. The differences is what makes it. If everybody was the same, the world would be boring. All right, so that is what it is, and we are finishing strong. Again, I think we're in the second half of the year. So right, so we setting the goals for the second half of the year. So by December, we're finishing strong in December. Right, if you usually use your year like that, because I know some people do their year based on their birthday. All right, so I would like to thank you all for logging in. But before I thank you all, does anybody have anything else that they want to add or they want to throw in? Okay, so I would like to thank you all for logging in tonight, and I would encourage you all again to make the effort and put that effort into yourself and investing in yourself, because you are your biggest investment. Right? You are the most important thing. Without you, then the other things don't really exist, or they don't really matter. Right? So you're making that investment in yourself, and we walk in towards cutting off the distractions. If you find that you are struggling, you could always set up a meeting with us, come and have a conversation and say, you know what, these thought patterns, it's really hard, it's really challenging. I need to set up a one-on-one to help me along. I need the extra support and I need the push. We are always there to provide the support as well. So y'all can feel free to reach out to us at any point in time to help guide you along and support you, because again, we are community and we are family. And family help family and family builds family. So that is what we are doing. We all want to finish strong, right? We all climbing together and we all finishing strong together. We don't want to be finishing strong together. All right. So good night, everyone, and do enjoy the rest of your night.
Good night.
Good evening. Enjoy, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Night, Patricia.